Talk on Red, 15th of October, Knobhead Tuesday, as it's coming to be known now, I think. I think we're getting the message out there. I'm Andy Heaton. This is Kevin Walsh. Normally we like to start on something light and have a little bit of a laugh, mainly Jordan Pickford mostly. But,
yeah. Even he kept a clean sheet last night.
Well, there you go, that's a fucking shite. We can't actually start going to today's show without mentioning exactly what's happened last night, not necessarily the results on the pitch. But what happened in the stands...
at the Vasilevsky Stadium.
Yeah, not ideal, Kev.
Not ideal at all. Listen, it's a joke, isn't it, really? The fact that it still goes on nowadays, and the fact that when it showed you the pitches at half-time, you could clearly see people doing monkey chants. It's backwards, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? It's an absolutely ridiculous situation to find yourself in the 21st century, and lucky enough it's been... Well, it appears to be mostly eradicated in British stadiums, but by the same token, you go to certain countries and it's not just accepted, it's expected, it's almost accepted. Obviously, Italy's had a lot of problems with it recently. And last night's one, the only thing I will say is I thought the process that had been put in place was actually quite good. I think in the past it's been a case of, well, the manager's saying, well, get off the pitch, and the players are saying they want to come off and the referee's telling them no. Whereas yesterday it seemed like the process of, okay, we'll inform the referee stops the game, make the announcement to the crowd that if it continues, you risk the match not going on. Then he stopped it again just before half time, and it looked like they might walk off to give the second warning, and then it seems it calmed down after that. I'm not sure if it fully eradicated it, and you told me I didn't even realise they'd been offered the chance to walk off the pitch, hadn't he? And that's... Listen, it shouldn't happen in this day and age, but at least there's a process in place that looks a little bit more like they're taking it seriously, because a lot of the time with FIFA and UEFA, they don't take it seriously at all. They're knocking out fines of £10,000 and £15,000 for racism. Shutting down stadiums that are only ever half full anyway. Exactly, yeah. So it's an absolute joke. They need to be stopping games and saying, okay, well, you're losing the points. So then it puts the onus on the club to stop the fans. The fans don't care if the ground gets shut down for one game in these countries in reality, because it happens all the time, so they're not interested. But if you start telling teams, okay, but you've lost the game and you forfeit your game, you leave the competition. Until they do something like that, you're probably not going to see much change. But the process they had in place last night, I thought, worked relatively well. And I just said money talks. As we're just reading in dispatches this morning, I didn't realise, as you said, until this morning, it was actually put to the players whether they wanted to continue at half-time, and the England players as a collective took the decision to carry on, even though they could have abandoned the game and still took the win. Very brave, especially when you consider, I mean, there's footage of Tyrone Mings asking the linesman whether he'd heard it, and you know, the footage, it's so blatant, you know, it's undeniable, but you forget these are just young kids as well, yeah, essentially in the 20s, and they've been given that responsibility, and they took the decision to go, no, actually, you know what, we're going to see this out. I think that's the right decision. I think, listen, it's not for... There's a lot of media... A lot of the media is middle-aged white fellas, including ourselves. We're fan media, but we're in our 30s and we're white fellas. We've never experienced racism. It's not for us to tell Tyrone Mings or Raheem Sterling or Marcus Rashford what's right and what's wrong. What's right and what's wrong is what they want to do in that situation. And they wanted to carry on playing, and they probably wanted to go out there and kick Bulgaria's ass, to be perfectly honest, and say, well, listen, you give all that ridiculous nonsense what you want. You're not going to stop me. You're not going to stop me. No. And not only you're not going to stop me, we're going to come out and destroy you. So listen, if they chose at half time to say we're not going back out there and we want to win, that would have been the right decision. And I think the media should focus more on what the players want in that situation than what they think is right. What we think is right on certain things might be, it might not be, but the people affected by it are these young black players who are getting it. And they're getting it relatively often. For Raheem Sterling, it seems, last season he was getting it in Britain. And that, I don't even think that was handled particularly well. The perpetrators were banned, thankfully. But Sterling has had to deal with it in his own country, and he's gone over there now. And it's not for me to tell Raheem Sterling, you should have walked off the pitch or you should have stayed on the pitch. It's for Raheem Sterling to say, well, listen, I'm the man who's getting this abuse. I'm the man who's a world superstar. And this is how I think we're going to deal with it. And next time it happens, maybe they'll get together and say, well, listen, let's make a statement. Let's walk off the pitch and let's say we're not playing the game. And that will probably further the cause of getting it stopped, I would imagine. But again, it's not for people who are not getting racism. No, 100%. And it does seem like it is, you know, last night can be hopefully turning into a positive first step. You look at the fallout and the reaction from it. Just before we've
come out to record this. Our very own Trent Alexander-Arnold's reacted to it. I think he's essentially called the Bulgaria coach a joke. Same as Raheem Sterling last night. You know, there would be, but there can't be any tribalism around this. It doesn't matter whether it's Trent, it doesn't matter whether it's Raheem Sterling, it doesn't matter whether it's Tyrone Mings.
It doesn't matter if it's a Bulgarian player saying about English fans, if it's the other way around. The Bulgarian coach is a disgrace. He's an absolute disgrace for coming out and saying what he said. He's come out and said that he didn't hear any racism in the stadium last night. I was watching it on television and I heard it. It showed it clearly on the pitches, people doing monkey gestures and monkey chants. So if people like him, the leader of the national team, are not willing to take it on head on, it shows that it's not a priority for these countries. And
but you've got to make it a priority then.
Well, so UEFA have got to make it a priority, haven't they? UEFA should come out and absolutely slam him for that and say, listen, it's a joke for you to pretend that you haven't heard that. You're not helping anyone's situation. You're making the situation worse. You're enabling people to carry on being Neanderthals, and that's not what we need.
I mean, we are awaiting an official response from UEFA, so I mean, and hopefully at long last they will come out and, you know, it basically effectively put an effective sanction in that makes an example of the Bulgarians.
Well, the only effective sanction now, because...
But then it's got to be consistent after that.
Well, half the ground was closed last night anyway, wasn't it, for previous incidents? So the next game, it's got to be behind closed doors. And in reality, they should probably forfeit points in the group stage. The problem with that is the shite anyway, so they're not taking points off them is a waste of time, isn't it? Really, so listen, I don't know what, as I say, I don't know what the right and wrong answer is, but it needs to be something that makes other countries and other sets of fans sit up and think, whoa, I'm not going to do that next time I go to the ground, because in the end, that's what the sanctions are for. The sanctions are not to punish what's gone on, it's to punish what's gone on and prevent it in the future. Prevention's better than cure.
Just lastly on that, again, I mentioned it before, Raheem Sterling's reaction to it, he's fast becoming the icon of this England side, and if anything can be taken out of this, you know, I mean, you know my attitude to our attitude in general towards the national side, but you know, if you take anything from this, it might even, you know, I mean, the country's fractured as it is, let's be honest.
Very much so. You have to listen to Raheem Sterling. When he was at Liverpool, a lot of people were, he's not that great, and I said at the time, I thought he was going to be a superstar. I think you could see it in him, and I think his game's only gone one way since he's gone to Man City. He's an absolute Wales superstar now. Listen, he's become a bit of a role model as well. I don't think when he was younger, he got a lot of stick and he took it well. I don't necessarily think he done that much wrong either. I think a lot of the stick he got was, like, you see things like calling him a footy idiot, Raheem Sterling, and headlines like this. Listen, it's people picking on him because... He's
had to deal with this since he's been 15, 16.
Yeah, and now he's mid-20s. He's probably got to the point where he's thinking, I'm sick of this and I want to make a real strong attempt to change it. Listen, good luck to him. Whatever backing he needs, everybody should give him.
As far as the result goes, I think that sees England qualify now, doesn't it?
I think it all but qualify. I think Kosovo had to win or Montenegro or whatever. I'm not that interested in Europe in the international football.
More importantly, none of our lads have come back injured.
Well, none of them played. Henderson played.
Henderson played, got suspended for the next game as well.
Listen, when it comes to international football, I think most viewers will understand. I'm not bothered. I've got no interest in it whatsoever. And as long as all of our players come back and we absolutely made them on United on Sunday, I'm happy as Larry.
I was going to say fit and firing for Sunday, hopefully with nearly a full fat squad, nearly said then. We had, talking about the game coming up on Sunday, we had the chat about it on Monday's free show. People tend to like this, so here's a little clip for you.
We're stronger in every position, undoubtedly stronger in every position before the ball's kicked. Every single position. Mm-hmm. Liverpool are better than Manchester United. And I think the most important thing will be going in with that mentality.
Yeah, definitely. It's a mad one, isn't it? Because no matter how good we are, no matter how shit they are, and it has always been this way in all big games, derby type games, you can't take anything for granted. Like I mentioned this on a show last week, that these are the games, and I think this is probably why, without sort of getting into doing big theories on what the background is, just instinctively, it's like, because it doesn't matter whether Solskjaer's a shit manager for one game. It doesn't matter whether overall they're in a shit heap and they don't know what to do, and Ed Woodward's crap, and there's all problems with buying players and that. All that matters to each one of those players on the pitch for that day is the eyes of the world are on them and they want to play their best. That's it. So you can imagine even just a little huddle before the game where one of the senior players says, I know this is crap, I know that he hasn't got a clue what he's doing, but this is in our best interest as individual players to be brilliant against Liverpool because we want to beat them and we want to show that we're still good players. So I think we've got to go into it even... I know there's the talk of go into it and say to our players should be saying, these are shite, and have that in your mind, but it's almost... that combined with, but remember they can all be brilliant as well. So you've got to go into it at your very, very best if you want to win this game. It's Man United away at the end of the day.
I think the key, as when we've been successful in derbies, is to harness their desire to be different, their desire to be their own view of their real selves, which just means they'll run a lot more and tackle a little bit nastier and be a bit more emotional and motivated than they would normally be. So a manager's challenge, a Klopp's challenge, is to look at all that and go, okay, let's make all that work against them. We did that with Everton for years in derbies, and we have probably only the last year and a half, you'd say we've probably not done that in derbies. But usually we've let it work against Everton brilliantly. They blow themselves out, they tire themselves out, they get men sent off, they get too many booked early, and they lose their minds. That's what's there to be done to Man U.
Make them lose their minds? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but it's hard. It's hard even if they're crap and even if it's Solskjaer, because it's Old Trafford and our record there is not good. You know, the 3-0 under Rodgers is 5 years ago. The 4-1 under Benitez is 10 years ago. And there's not a lot more to be celebrating in between all those games. It's one win in the last 10 at Old Trafford. So that proves you how hard it is to go there and do something. And I think, you know, to me it looks, I know why it's there, but, you know, I pull up the odds and we're odds on to win at Old Trafford. And I go, yeah. Because, you know, you're quite right, Kopi, to say, obviously, we're a good side and obviously we should go there and win. But football's not that obvious when you go into Old Trafford. It's hard to do it. We saw it last season. Everyone expected us to go there and blow them away, and it had an effect. Like, they were more up, you know, the fans as well.
Yeah,
like, that was the loudest Old Trafford had been probably for years, because they were so desperate to cock it up for us. The one thing I would say is I wonder what it's like at training or in the dressing room currently, like where the players are with the manager. So he will want what you said, Rob, but will he get it is the thing. Like, is it reached the point where loads of them are like, I've had enough of this fella, he's crap, I want him to go? Because we know that seeps into players' minds, and even if it's only sort of, okay, well, we'll still go out and do it, but it might just take a little edge off them.
Are we playing them at the right time? Last season, I would argue, we played them exactly the wrong time. I think we hit them to all but the last but one game from their winning run under Solskjaer. The only thing that surprises is they defended like demons that day rather than decided to have a go at us. But they were full of confidence and belief on that day. They are the opposite of that side now. I would argue that surely this is the right time to be playing.
Yeah, brilliant. So yeah, download the Anfield Wraps, free app to get all our content in one place, videos, podcasts and writing. Our free podcast will be on there as well every week, including loads more, including the Jurgen Klopp special and 2 interviews with the German that we put on earlier this week. So get involved, get it downloaded and let us know what you think. Loads more brilliant content to come. Right.
Yeah, I'm
Friday, yeah. Exactly. Today marks the day. I mean, when I said to you 9 years before, bloody hell.
Blink of an eye, mate. Absolute blink of an eye.
Today marks the day when Fenway Sports Group, or New England Sports Ventures as they were known at the time, Kevin, effectively won control of Liverpool Football Club in the courts in London 9 years ago at the offices of Slaughter and May. As you said, blink of an eye.
It was a blink of an eye. I remember it very, very well. Sitting in work in my little office at the back of our car place I worked in at the time, and not talking to any customers or anyone else, just sitting on my phone, just refreshing Twitter every 30 seconds to see if anything else had happened. And listen, we were absolutely delighted at the time. It felt like, thank God, we finally got rid of these absolute cowboys that were dragging us to ruin, weren't they, at the time? And I think we would have been very grateful for anybody to come in and save us. New England Sports Ventures, they had a record that you could point to and hang a bit of hope on when it comes to the Boston Red Sox. They haven't won the World Series for 100 years or whatever.
That mad curse, wasn't it?
The Babe Ruth curse or whatever it was. So, and they've made them into a winner. There was a lot of similarities between what's their ground called?
Oh, Fenway Park.
Fenway Park and Anfield being. People thought they'd need to leave Fenway Park, but they managed to rebuild it, and they've done a very good job at that with Anfield as well. Over the tenure, 9 years, it feels like they finally hit the stride, is what I'd say. They've
been learning on the job. They've been learning on the job, haven't they? I don't think. I mean, my take on it, you can disagree with me, but I think they came in with a certain degree of skepticism. I mean, people were grateful that the situation was resolved, but with all kind of the knowledge we gained through the whole Hicks and Gillette thing, you found yourself with a load of knowledge that you didn't particularly want, and an awareness of how the game works.
And a healthy dose of cynicism. And they were met with that, and I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing either. But there was no free rein. I think there was a little bit of scepticism. I think early on they had to learn a couple of things very, very quickly. But, you know, credit where it's due. You look where we are now, reigning European champions, currently top of the league. You'd say the envy of European football. They finally made the decision with the stadium. I mean, I'll be honest, full transparency, I was sound with the stadium move. I thought it's what we needed. I didn't think they could transform Anfield, but they proved me wrong with that. And I think it's one of the second only in the decision to hire Jurgen Klopp to redevelop Anfield. Yeah, and I can't wait to see what they do with the Anfield Road. So yeah, great, fair play to them. We're in a fantastic place. And, you know, long may it continue as far as I'm concerned. Yeah, long may the current situation continue, but I've still got a healthy dose of cynicism in me. I don't think I'll ever leave Hicks and Gillette things.
On the pitch, Kevin, on the pitch.
On the pitch, yeah. Off the pitch, I think, listen, the proof is in the pudding, and I still think we could possibly spend a little bit more. Whether Jurgen Klopp wants to do that or not, I don't know. FSG would point to the fact that Klopp gets what he wants whenever he wants it, generally. So that's fine, but listen, James Pearce likes to talk about the net spends. Boys are quiet tonight, don't they? And the thing is, the net spends is often an indicator of how much you really are trying to be at the top. And listen, we've made a lot of money from sales, and some of the sales I haven't been particularly happy with at the time. It's worked out for us, and the proof is in the pudding. We're top of the league by 8 points with the current European champions, and we're probably favourites to win it again, I would say. I would also say that I think FSG have done a good job. I think it took too long to get to where we've got us now. And what I would say is, just because we're where we are now, you're never more than a couple of transfer windows from falling off. So let's everyone just keep them on the toes. Let's not be too accepting. And the one thing I don't like to hear is they saved us.
No, well,
they got a distressed asset for £300 million, which is now probably worth £2 billion. So let's not be. Keep your healthy dose of cynicism, Reds. Let's enjoy the fact that we are where we are. But I'm very much in the camp of, listen, scouts rabble-rousing, aren't we? So I'm very much in the thing of keep them on the toes, don't be giving them too much credit, and let's go and create a dynasty. And when we've won 3 European Cups and 5 league titles in the next 10 years, well then I'll raise a glass to FSG.
They didn't buy us out the kindness of their hearts, put it that way. They did exactly right. And I think it's testament to the work that Spirit of Shankly have done and continue to do, that they are on the toes, and Liverpool Football Club as an entity are probably the most engaged club in the Premier League, and that again isn't just out of some open door policy. That's been a decision made internally by the club because of things that have gone before, and more power to the people involved in that, and including those inside the club.
But obviously, just before we go on, my healthy dose of cynicism, I was thinking to myself then, am I being a bit miserable? But then it's only 2 weeks since we had the absolute saga that was the trademark, where they make a decision and then just announce it to the world. They've got all these fan engagement groups and certain things, LFC TV and stuff like that's fantastic. There's other things where people need, in this city specifically, they need to be spoken to before major action is taken. And in this city, we're organised into, they can literally pick up the phone to SOS and get...
What do you think of this, boys?
Yeah, they can get the finger on the pulse and see where they are. And I think, listen, as you said, they're learning on the job. They're doing well in some areas, other areas need improvements. I think that's one of the areas.
I think where I will give them credit is that they're not slow to recognise a mistake.
No, that's very true.
And the willingness to adapt. You look at the situation we talk about in the first part about the Man United game on Sunday. There's absolutely zero communication between the Glazers and Man United fans.
And long may that continue.
Well, you laugh though, but I mean, look, I mean, you can laugh and joke and all that kind of stuff, but I know fellas who are dedicated to Man United as me and you are to Liverpool. I know you're trying desperately not to break into a smirk.
Listen,
but the fact of the matter is that the channels are open. They will rail back if you know, public discourse is there and you know, and people aren't happy with stuff. It's just getting to the middle bit where they don't get to the point where they've got to rail back now.
But again, they're laying on the job, so hopefully that comes.
But at the same time, where I will give them credit is, I can't remember in my lifetime where Liverpool have had the most expensive and best centre-half on the planet playing for them, or the second most expensive goalkeeper and clearly the best goalkeeper in Europe, you know, turning out for them. And I think that, you know, we don't know the insides and the back end of it, how the transfer spend goes and what the planning is, but without a shadow of a doubt, they have put down a statement where, for me, we went through years and years and years spending players on Monday on players who might be good enough, just might be good enough. Now, for decisions has to be made, they are decisive. I think the first time they've done that was with the manager, and then they've done it with Virgil van Dijk, and now they've done it with the goalkeeper.
My cynicism comes from the fact that the goalkeeper and Virgil van Dijk were paid for by Philippe Coutinho, who was one of the top 10 best players in the world when he left us with his money. That's fine. If that's what Jurgen Klopp wants, no, he still spends it. That's fair enough. What I will give them the credit for is the fact that we're spending money like that and still maintaining profit due to the fact that we're now a commercial entity worthy of the name. Whereas we're not going to end up with like the club shop being closed after Istanbul and things like that. We all want us to get into the 21st century, so I suppose it's a bit disingenuous to then moan when we get there.
Yeah,
we are a bit more.
It's a balancing act, isn't it?
It is a balancing act, even in my own head, clearly.
I've said to you, I wouldn't take the Liverpool chief exec's job for all the teams, for a big clock. And I don't think anyone I know will, because I think it's the most impossible job.
Yeah, it's probably
in football. You can't please everyone.
Well, the thing is, the only people he's got to really please are the owners, because they're the ones who pay his wages, and I think the owners use that system very well to their effect, to their benefit, because they've got very much a buffer between the rabble houses over here on the lovely Scouse Peninsula and the Wirral Peninsula, we'll buy that, but and them over there in Boston. And listen, they've got good people in there. Michael Edwards looked like he was going to be a total failure, and I think Brendan Rodgers probably wanted him gone. Look at him now. I think he's probably the second most important man at the club after Jurgen Klopp, and that's credit to them for recognising, because he was a young fella, he was in early 30s, wasn't he, for recognising the talent that he had and for being able to nurture it to get it to the point where now, listen, Everton have got Marcel Brands, and they've got him deified as some sort of genius for doing a terrible version of what Michael Edwards does for Liverpool, so fair play to them on that. No, fantastic, and as we said, night and day compared to where we were 9 years ago. Just to wrap up, some other news and dispatches. Liverpool women's captain Sophie Bradley-Auckland has been named as one of the nominees for Ladbrokes Northwest Women's Player of the Season award. Sophie.
Go ahead. She's been nominated alongside ex-Liverpool and Man City Steph Orton, Man United's Katie Zalem, Fields, Laura Merrin and Simone McGill of Everton. So that's that. Just to wrap up, we've got 2 new t-shirts on the go, which is going to flash up on screen now. I think they're going to be there. Sam, can we make them there? Brilliant. Amazing. Yeah, cool. You can get them at shop.theanfieldwrap.com. That's it for today. This has been Knobhead Tuesday. I am Andy Heaton. This is Kevin Walsh. Up the Reds.